Hi, my name's Benji Claus and welcome to Dice vs Cards. So it's that time of year again, ladies and gentlemen, and it's time for our Christmas gift guide 2019 edition. So we're giving you 10 gift ideas in no particular order in 4 different categories. Lightweight games and medium weight games we've already talked about, but also heavyweight games and stocking fillers. And we're going to be releasing one video each week throughout the month of November. So today's category is heavyweight games. So these are gift ideas for friends or family or someone that you know loves a deep, thinky, potentially extremely long gaming experience. So let's get to the list. Anachrony. This engine builder and worker placement game set in a rich science fiction landscape where your descendants from the future look to warn you about an impending asteroid that will devastate your home planet certainly does have a lot of moving parts and a lot of things to consider. There are a myriad number of ways for you to approach this game, and thankfully, dependent on your perspective, not all of them are conflict based, which means this doesn't always have to devolve into a brutal grab for victory. You'll have to juggle the need to increase morale, gain resources for when you evacuate and achieve objectives. And you'll do this by recruiting workers, building, researching and even asking your planetary heirs to send you vital resources. This is a very well produced and beautiful game to behold. There's even a nifty solo mode where you play against the game's Chronobot AI that will make sure to keep you entertained if you're on your lonesome. Black Angel. This 2019 release pits you in a not dissimilar story to Anachrony, but this time you're travelling through space, transplanting humanity to a new planet to call home. In-game you'll be placing dice representing workers to do a number of things in and around your planetary vessel in order to keep you on course to reach your destination, including keeping the ship clean and devoid of those pesky ravagers that can ultimately cause you to lose the game. You'll be playing on a modular board, so you'll need to adapt on your journey, and this also helps with the game's replayability. The dice drafting and the way you need to maximise the engine building aspect of the game really makes for a quite thinky time at the table. You'll need to forward plan in order to achieve your given objectives. This, coupled with the variable endgame conditions, ultimately adds up to a deeply strategic gameplay experience. Brass Birmingham. In this sequel of sorts to Brass Lancashire, you'll be playing as industrial moguls in good old Blighty, where you'll be buying, selling and trading your way to success, playing cards from your hand in each turn in order to ferry your goods around the country. The game has a wonderful economy system that will adapt throughout the game and keep you very much on your toes, transitioning nicely from the early canal route era to the industrial rail route era. Having to keep your finger on the pulse and adapting to the needs of others perfectly evokes the cutthroat world of asset trading. So much so that if you have that business mindset, you're sure to take to this like a duck to water. So if you like your economy games with tight mechanics, relatively well paced and pretty gosh darn realistic, then check out this updated staple. Else we'll send the blinders round. That doesn't work with a Cockney accent, Benj? Well done. Escape Plan. This area movement, hand management and tile placement game throws you headfirst into a game of cat and mouse where you're looking to escape the authorities quick sharp. But first you need to grab those stashes of cash you've got hidden all over the city. You'll have your own player board to help you keep track of things, and you'll be relying on contacts and extra equipment to help you as you move around the game's modular board. There's an elegant resource management system in place here, and you'll need to use those resources most optimally in order to duck and dive and keep ahead of the chasing pack. Else they'll do damage to you and gradually slim down your available actions. This game employs action point allowance, and you'll have 3 actions to play with each day, with some bonus actions available on occasion in order to min-max your hasty actions and look to escape with your grab bags before sun sets on the final day. Gaia Project. This space exploration game that employs area influence and route building mechanics to a modular board offers some unbelievably rich and deep gameplay. Players will each take turns taking one action, and it's up to you how you expand your control over the galaxy, which will inform and help shape your means of winning the game. Researching is certainly a key means within which you'll develop a game plan, and this is an area of the game that shines bright. You can go all in on certain types of research, or be a jack of all trades and still be growing that economy and influence to great effect. Once you've gained a foothold on the board, you can then start to really expand upon the route building elements of the game by connecting your planets to form a larger federation. This is actually a sci-fi reskin of the ever popular Terra Mystica, and whilst there are some subtle differences between the two, there's not enough to note here. End of round scoring, variable endgame conditions, a resource manipulation minigame and a plethora of aliens to encounter all pile on to make a highly replayable game. Pipeline. Worker placement? Check. Engine building? Check. Tile placement? Check. These things combine to make a heavyweight delight about pipelines. What pipelines, you ask? Well, it's oil we're shilling here, folks. You'll be taking on contracts that you need to deliver upon, and the game takes place over segments of 3-year periods, which take less and less time as the game progresses, and you each battle for oil supremacy. The winner of the game is simply the player who took the greatest advantage of this most profitable of resources and sits on the biggest pile of cash. The tile placement on offer here provides a real puzzle-like feel to proceedings and also gives the keys to this game's replayability. You'll very much appreciate the excellent learning curve, where it's relatively easy to pick up this game but difficult to master. So if this type of complexity isn't necessarily your bag, because these games all seem that little bit too daunting, but you want to give one a try, then this might be a worthwhile bet. Spirit Island. This somewhat allegorical game about a tranquil island inhabited by peaceful spirits that is suddenly beset upon by outlanders whose only rule of thumb is to take, offers some meaty gameplay on the back end. In this cooperative game, you play as said spirits who each have their own strengths and weaknesses that you must use to control areas of the board. You'll be using the cards from your hand that act as the spirit's powers and can influence the game state, with the ultimate goal of expelling all those unwelcome settlers from the island, or by generating so much fear that those happy campers poop in their pampers. You'll have to work together to achieve your common goal. That's why there are many synergies that can be found when the spirits work together in tandem. The number of different scenarios that come with the game and the scalable difficulty on offer only help to make this an overall package well worthy of a gift this Christmas. Star Trek Frontiers. This semi-cooperative deck building and tile placement game pits you as one of 4 captains in the beloved fictional universe, where space exploration, away missions to planets and combat will see you forward to earning the most experience points come the end of the game. At the game's core is data, represented by the dice that you each roll throughout, and these are subsequently going to allow you to play cards from your upgradable deck. Each of the cards you can use have variable effects, so you can boost them if you have the available data. All cards can also be used to carry out basic actions such as moving, attacking and diplomacy. This is actually a sci-fi reskin, if you will, of Mage Knight, the board game. There's certainly a lot more content for Mage Knight, but this version also has streamlined a few things mechanically. Each of this game's scenarios offers something slightly different in terms of its cooperative and competitive elements, and so picking and choosing these based on your playgroup is a real boon in terms of value. Sword and Sorcery. This cooperative 1-part dungeon crawler, 1-part role-playing game really does offer something different in terms of what a dungeon crawler would normally provide. It scales very well to your player count and has an elegant AI system for taking control of all of those monsters and minions that your heroes will come up against. There's so much variety in terms of different enemies, but also how the same types of monsters can behave quite differently depending on their subtype. The game's campaign style will allow your characters to level up and learn new skills and powers as you play through the story. You can also choose the alignment of your characters. Do you want them acting lawfully, or do you want them bringing their chaotic nature to the table? Well, either choice gives you access to different abilities. This is arguably a title that deserves more attention as it sits a little bit in the shadow of Gloomhaven, but there's very little to split them, and this comes in at a much more affordable price. Too Many Bones. Speaking of RPGs, how's about a dice rolling, dice building, combat laden one where you take control of Gearlocks, a unique race of engineers, warriors and wizards, whose diminutive stature doesn't stop them from being well-oiled killing machines, and they'll need all of those smarts and brawn when coming up against different nemesis. Lots about this game will strike you as different, but sometimes different is also a bit naff. But this game wouldn't be on this list if this bold concept hadn't been pulled off in style. Between upgrading your characters through quite complex talent trees, all represented by dice, to the slightly unusual but it damn sure works game board that represents the positioning of the participants and the outcome of the battles, using some heftily well made poker type chips to represent the characters and health. If you're even marginally intrigued by this high production game, then do yourself a favour, head on over to the publisher's website, which incidentally is the only way you can buy this game, press add to cart and wait for the good times to roll. We really do hope we've given you some great gift ideas, and if you've liked this video, please do us a favour and give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with what we do.